Hey guys, Lethally Poor here. Pretty stoked to get back and make videos for you guys. I missed it. It's been a busy couple years. A lot of change, new job, new everything. So I am super excited to start off making videos again with this. It's going to be my Defense Mechanisms belt review and how I have it set up and kind of update you guys as to what I'm doing with my gear in 2025. So let's get right into it. For those of you that don't know, I don't know how you wouldn't, the Defense Mechanisms belt is the same style of belt that you would see with Axel and a few other manufacturers. What they're doing is basically a overlapping outer belt that goes like this and has Velcro engagement so as to not have a pinch point and a flex point here at your center line where you would normally see it with like the Blue Alpha belt or some of the other Ronin belts, whatever. It's been pretty good. I've had it for over a year now, at least. Been working on it, a couple little changes, new things here and there. I will get into why it's just working as my training, competition, everything else belt, and then my work belt is a little bit different, but we'll touch base on that when that video comes out. But as of now, this belt's held up pretty good. There's some stitching breaking through, and there's a couple little minor issues, but nothing too serious. It's held up pretty well. A couple classes, a lot of training, a lot of competition. So let's go on. Starting off, gun side. First things first, Farley on level 3 for my Glock 34. You guys haven't seen this, but I will do a video on what I'm shooting in 2025. Probably next video, maybe the video after that. But if you want to see more about this, hit me up in the comments or on Instagram and I can give you a breakdown. Mounting the gun to the belt is this Guardian Warrior Solutions bang hanger. And what this is it works like the modular holster adapter, UBL, same sort of stuff. This mounts your QLS that you can mount your gun to. I run a modular holster adapter currently, but I will probably switch to this on my work belt soon. For right now, I'm just testing this. It was sent out to me by Preston over at Guardian Warrior Solutions. Appreciate it. It's been pretty good. I really like it. It gives you enough flex where it's not super uncomfortable, and if you fall on it, like it's gonna hurt. If you roll around on the ground, do any training with your belt on, you'll see that those really rigid platforms can hurt your hips after a while. But nonetheless, this has been pretty good. I've seen them on the market for a while, but they at first came with just the Tigris overlay, no cover, and I really wanted a black cover if I was going to run it professionally. I think it looks just a little bit cleaner. But it's worked pretty well. It allows you to mount your QLS in any manner that you see fit. So I have it negatively here for two reasons. One, my competition holster, which allows me to have a slight negative cant, and then with my duty holster, it allows it to mount kind of almost straight with a slight, let's see if I can do this on camera. It has a slight positive cant, but it really is a neutral cant on the holster. And then as for the strap, this is just a plain 1-inch strap with a little bit of stretch. On my work belt, I run a Shaw Concepts, but to pay $60 twice for a leg strap is like, it reaches a point of no return where you're spending so much money on stuff that doesn't show much gain in terms of, I wear this belt 8 hours at the most for like a class or maybe a long competition, but whereas my work belt, it could be up to 16 hours or longer. So you want to have comfort in mind for something like that. But moving on to the IFAK. Up here, it's the same one that I've run in my previous video from 2023. It's the LBX non-stretchy one. Same contents as that previous video. Check it out if you haven't to kind of see where I'm at with this. I haven't found a better one. I like the Roll 1, but the footprint that it takes up would be almost twice the size of this. So this has worked out really well. Being able to quickly deploy it and be able to pull it out is awesome, and it's held up pretty good. I know that for those of you who have worn these for long periods of time, you notice that in the small of your back, this is could create a hot spot in a car, but if you kind of shift your body strategically in the car, it's not as bad from my experience, but nonetheless, your results may vary. Blue Force Gear dump pouch. I don't know what to say other than it's a dump pouch. It's worked pretty well. It's super easy to restow, and it's not super rigid, so it doesn't weigh anything, and it's worked pretty well for me. It's held up the last couple of years. It's, you get some fraying and stuff like that, but otherwise it's been pretty good. I should mention that the way I have that mounted, as well as actually just that, is one wrap. In the axle video, I discussed it, but this is a lot better than using the internal MOLLE I have found, especially if you're going to use malice clips. It's a different story for the Adapt 2 shorts, but with these, it allows you to maintain Velcro engagement, which is a pretty big buzzword, and allows you to mount it exactly where you want it. So if it's slightly, like in this case, this is mounted where I otherwise would not have been able to with malice clips or the included straps that I cut off. It's worked out pretty well, and it's plenty sturdy. Your belt is sandwiching this Velcro in between it, so it doesn't really need anything else other than that. But moving on to the Just Pouch by Spiritus Systems. This is a cool kind of idea and concept for a belt. I saw Kit Badger doing it probably 2 or 3 years ago now, and I always thought it was kind of interesting to have a belt mounted pouch this size that wasn't so cumbersome, that had a purpose. It had, it wasn't just a GP pouch, but it wasn't just a STAC rifle pouch that I used previously. So with this, I have a Lunar Concepts 1R1, which is made out of Tigris. I don't know if you guys can see that. My video skills have still not improved from 2 years ago, but what this allows is you to mount a rifle mag and a pistol mag in here, and it allows for actual re-indexing. The Spiritus Velcro ones, albeit super light, don't allow you to re-index your magazines super easily. So almost immediately it was a problem. Trying to get this insert itself was super challenging. I don't know why they don't sell more of them, but albeit I was able to get one. I've been running it for probably 9 months now, maybe a little longer, and it's been pretty good. It's held up well, and it's really improved the usability of the pouch. So with the Just a Pouch, I have a couple things in here that I keep, just mostly range stuff, some stuff for classes, Right in the Rain notepad for classes, marking misses, Sharpie, a lens pen, which if you don't already have one, definitely get it, and a Leatherman. This one's a Wingman, but just a cheap Leatherman that I use for fixing gear, whether it be on the rifle or adjusting or zeroing. I was just at a competition last weekend, so I have some target pasties and what else I have? Some electrical tape, and that's it. The ability to plus this up is really cool, so that with this pouch being a GP pouch, I can put the Velcro in here, and I can put, I've put up to 3 rifle mags in here easily, and it's worked really well. Extra pistol mags, handcuffs. If you run extra munitions, so you have 40 Mike, or you have less lethal shotguns, you can put your placard on something like this, on this loop field. It allows a lot of different options and opportunities, so it's a really cool pouch. The only thing I will say is that it does take up obviously more space, and I know that sounds kind of stupid because obviously it takes up more space, it has more capability. It does not provide you the same reloading capability as maybe like an STAC short, which I ran previously. The mags sit pretty deep in there, but being that this is a tertiary mag for my pistol, and then this is my fast mag, but it's enough room that you're able to grab this pretty easily. I'll try to upload a clip if I can do that successfully. I will. You'll see it. If not, no, sorry. But the last part, hit my rifle, is these Mars carriers from T-Rex Arms, and I know that in 2025 that's like sacrilege to be using T-Rex Arms, but I've had these for years now. They've been awesome, and I actually like these ones better than the new ones. They come out a lot easier. They still are super secure. They're not going anywhere, and they're really awesome. I have them mounted. I'll put a picture. It'll probably be the thumbnail of me wearing the belt, and you can kind of see how I have them configured. I prefer to keep my canted mags almost centerline. It just is a little bit easier for me, and it clears all my gear if I'm wearing a plate carrier, or if I'm wearing my outer carrier, it's even better. So I have these mounted not with Tech Locks, but with Guardian Warrior Solutions Adapt 2 shorts. And these are pretty awesome because they're super thin. They're not bulky like the Tech Locks. The one problem with the Tech Lock is that it's super difficult to use in terms of the offset off of your body creates kind of a weird pinch point, and so you're kind of forced to either cant your body out a little bit, or it's going to dig into you. And the way that they're curved is not very conducive to how I have them mounted up in here. The one downside to these is that there's not a defense mechanism specific one, because evidently the defense mechanisms belt is not a true 1 3/4 inch belt. It's Preston probably knows it, but I don't. It was like 1.8 inches or something like that. So you need to end up using the 2-inch variant, which is fine. However, you're able to, I have zip ties here to do it, but it creates it so that it locks it up so that it doesn't move. If you had a regular 1 3/4 inch belt, Blue Alpha, or whoever makes them of your choosing, you'd be able to mount this and it would be totally fine. But that's my issue with the defense mechanisms belt, is I wish it was a true 1 3/4 inch belt. It hasn't posed that much of an issue, but it was kind of frustrating and a little disheartening because the belt is awesome, but kind of takes away my wanting to use this as a patrol belt, because I would like to use these on all of my systems going forward because of how slim they are, and they allow some flex, whereas the Tech Locks really don't. So that's kind of the overview of the belt. Kind of talking about why I run it this way and kind of what my gripes with it are. I think I've discussed pretty much all of them, other than to say that the defense mechanisms belt doesn't allow for upsizing or downsizing like the Axle belt does, which is fine. I mean, if you buy a regular belt, you're not going to have the ability to do that either. With these overlapping belts, the main selling point I would think would be to be able to change the sizing as you're, whether you have bigger clothes on, whether you're layering, whatever it is. Kind of frustrating with that. The other thing that's kind of frustrating with this belt has been you can't change where you want to mount the buckle. The good thing about the Axle belt was you were able to do that, but the Axle belt had almost no Velcro on it. It was like probably maybe half an inch to an inch of Velcro max. So it didn't feel very secure on your body. But for reloading, so like I'm doing some rifle dry fire, I'll probably do a rifle breakdown at some point, but you still are able to access your pouches pretty quickly. It's a very comfortable belt. Like, there's no hot spots. I kind of have figured out where the hot spots would be, the Tech Lock, for example, and now I'm able to kind of wear this belt for as long as I need to, and it's super comfortable, and it's pretty good. As for any of the stuff on here that I wouldn't recommend, I would try to find a solution for the IFAK next. It, like I mentioned previously, it has created a little bit of a hotspot after sitting in a car for a long time, but you can work through that. It's just something that I would like to not have to deal with, but it is a non-negotiable for me to carry med at all times. So with that, I really have nothing else other than to say, figure out what you're going to be using your belt for and train to that. This is kind of doing it like a multi-purpose right now, and while it works, it's not as optimized. So when I go shoot competition, it's kind of frustrating when you have people with, you know, magnetic, super easy to use belts, and I'm using a nylon belt that's more tactical oriented. And then when you're going to certain classes, you're going to find that in the prone, these angled pouches, you're going to pick up some dirt, and having Kydex on the front of your body can kind of hurt, but it's one of those things where you just got to not be soft about it and kind of just sack up. But nonetheless, I really appreciate you guys for sticking with me. It's been a good couple of years, but I'm happy to bring you some new videos. And if there's a topic that you want me to discuss, put it in the comments, DM me on Instagram. I'm hoping that I can really grow this channel into the end of this year, into the next year. Once again, the stated purpose of this channel is not for me to make money or to make this my job. I just wish that somebody told me how to set up gear 5 years ago when I was getting into this stuff, and it was super challenging to be able to figure out what works and what doesn't work. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.